Hi guys, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, I'm so happy to have you. If you're my previous subscribers, welcome back to the channel. So for today's video, we're going to be focusing on a lot of the Asian demographic and regions, specifically focusing more so on China and Taiwan and the situation happening there. But this video is going to be solely based on instinct and intuition. So we're going to try to see wherever this takes us in this video. So if you really want to know what we're going to be covering in today's video, just check the description below and everything is timestamped there. So this video is being recorded on August 8th, 2023 at 12:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And here are some quick disclaimers on your screen right now. Feel free to read them on your own time. And just please keep in mind this video is just for entertainment purposes only and for education purposes only as well. And here are some quick other last minute disclaimers. Again, same thing, feel free to read them on your own time. So let's get right into it. We have a lot to cover today. I've been doing like a little experiment for the past couple of weeks now, but whenever I do a YouTube video, I do it based on when I'm hungry and I didn't eat yet. And what this allows me to do, it allows me to be able to tap in and hone in on my intuition. Because when you are in a state of survival or a state of hunger, you're more likely to have an advanced intuition, an advanced psychic ability than just say someone who's just ate. So we're testing this theory out. And just let me know what you guys think in the comment section below of this video, what you think of today's video. Any liking, subscribing, commenting really helped out the channel. So yeah, I appreciate all your engagement for today's video. So for the first question that we're going to ask today is, how did it start between China and Taiwan? It makes a lot of sense why my intuition was asking a specific question. Well, in order for us to really understand on a subatomical level on how the Chinese and Taiwan do not get along, we need to understand the underlying situation that led us to this very point, and where there's a possibility of a war outbreak between the two nations. So let's find out. So I was like, come up with a really good idea. I was going to use my flag cards, but we didn't have a Taiwan card. So my other option was, well, what if I use the small Rider-Waite tower deck for Taiwan and use the big one for China? So that's what we're going to do, because China has a very big country compared to Taiwan. So you can definitely see the size difference. So that's what we're going to be using today. So the big cards are for China, small cards are for Taiwan. Okay, so here's what I'm getting. So the first card that we have here is we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 of Wands reversed. And this really speaks to me and tells me that, like, at one point in time, they were unified. They were a unified nation. There wasn't some sort of injury. There wasn't wound to the relationship that they had, because they were united as one. They were not separate. They were the same people with the same ideology, the same government. Everything was the same. So there was no reason to have this card upright. There was no sort of hardship indicated here. That's the past. The current card that represents the present is the moon. A division between the two nations. This also talks about ideology, it talks about government, it talks about culture, it talks about even like distinct, facial recognition, like all those type of things. When I say facial recognition, when such a large demographic is isolated on an island, they tend to show a little bit of a different variation than just say people on the mainland. This is also seen through evolution when it comes to animals. But besides the point, we do have the moon card, and the moon card is indicating the vision. You can see that with the yellow road. And we do have the Scorpio card, and we are getting to the month of October and the Scorpio energy. And normally the Scorpio energy normally indicates in this aspect, or at least when I'm reading the card, is that there will be some sort of turbulence in the ocean. Maybe, I think if I am correct, I'm not exactly sure where Taiwan is located, but near China. I think it's the China Sea. Depending on if it's in that region, there's going to be a lot of turbulence. Not enough that it's going to trigger war, but it's almost like where people in the media and everything like that is going to be, freaking out because it has a high probability of occurring for war, but it doesn't always accentuate past that point. And I think it's because when I'm looking at this, it's more so about energy probability. And the reason why I say energy probability is I see more of an energy investment. Like, it will take a lot of time and energy for China to really invest a lot of the resources to take down Taiwan. And Taiwan is not a very easy country to take down, even though it's very small and very very small in general. It has a very isolated demographic and geological perspective when it comes to weather current or weather pattern. It will be protected by nature in general. And that's what I'm kind of seeing here is that, even though it looks like it's going to be easy fight between the two, it's going to be a very similar situation when it comes to Ukraine and Russia. That it's going to be a heavy fight, and China we're going to have to allocate a lot of their time and energy and resources into fighting Taiwan. And the question is, well, is it really worth it at that point to even do that just for such a small landmass? It doesn't really make any sense to just waste that type of energy and resource. However, in the end, like the future card, we do have the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles almost feels like a peace offer, Maybe, maybe socially they may not get along, or environmentally or governmentally wise, or whatever it is. They don't get along in general, but there is some sort of peace offer when it comes to economic standpoint. So perhaps maybe there's a sanction on China, or maybe China and Taiwan do not trade with each other. But if that's the case, then in the future they're going to start trading with one another, and that's because they're going to start creating some sort of economic friendship. They're going to start trading, even if their ideology or government do not agree. They don't put that in front of whatever economical gain that they can get from it. No, in the end, I guess in terms of friendship, it does turn out there's going to be some, division, and it's going to be some sort of issue that evolve within the East China Sea that has a high probability of becoming war. But it doesn't look like it's going to be the definitive outcome. And the definitive outcome instead is some sort of economic friendship or a partnership between two nations trading economically. And that there is more of a reward added out when you trade financially than to just put diplomatic problems in front of economic gain. So that's what I see for this question. So what will come forth of such relationship? So this is a question that they actually told me to put down forth, or these questions were actually questions that they told me to put. So we're going to use the China card. Let's see. We're saying, tell me what will come forth of such relationship for China and Taiwan. So what will come forth of such relationship? Okay, I'm going to put them back in because I feel like it's not exactly helping with such a big, since it's such a large card and it's hard to maneuver. So card here at one point, like I said, Taiwan was liberated from China control, potentially also indicates ideology standpoint. But I think if you go back in time, I think that is necessarily true when it comes to historian perspective, but don't quote me on that. That is the devil card. The devil card means breaking up, a separation of one thing, but especially the fact that it's reversed, it's no longer chained or bound by the state. We do have the middle card in reverse. This is the Queen of Pentacles, and that is reversed. What I feel like the best situation is for China. It almost feels like for China doesn't want war with Taiwan. That's not within their best interest. Their best interest, what they really want from Taiwan is a trading, almost like they want some sort of trading relationship between the two nations. That's what they really want. They want the resources of Taiwan without the hard labor of fighting to get Taiwan in a part of their country. And that's what it kind of feels like. It almost feels like in some way they want a combination. They want a union stand of some sort, or maybe Taiwan to, be a part of China so that China doesn't have to fight for the resources or even pay for those resources. They just have them as reservoirs and they have a larger control. So it's really all about control in this aspect. But also talked about like the best way for Taiwan to really get out of the situation is to try to create some sort of economic partnership with China, and China will be more than likely to accept that type of partnership than to go after Taiwan. We do have here in terms of what will come forth of such relationship, we have the Hangman reverse, and this also means an ideological change. This potentially means enlightenment. Potentially, this will lead the way for China to realize that maybe we don't need to make enemies. Maybe we don't need to fight with everybody. Maybe we just need to move forward with a head held up high and just allow one another to just trade. There is no reason for division. There is no reason to be angry because money is money in the end. That's really what it is. It's just money is money. It has no value unless you let it have value. And that's really what's indicated here. It's indicated here at the hangman. It's a change of perspective. It's an enlightenment of some sort. That even though that they are bound by the rules of capitalism, or bound by the rules of economy, China ideology will start changing. And this also indicates here as well for Taiwan. Now, the thing is, we have to ask ourselves is, does this indicate to us that China is changing to a more democratic, institutionalized government, or is it changing into a more autocratic communism, or communism, autocrat, and capitalism society? And I know that's a lot of words jumbled together with different meanings, but that's exactly what China is technically now. It is an autocratic communist state that has a capitalist style economy. We do have here in the end, we do have the Knight of Wands. They're going to end up going back to the past. So a past ideology, a past government that they previously had prior to communism. So I'm wondering if this outfit that he's wearing is talking about the Ming Dynasty or the Yuan Dynasty or something like that. One of the dynasties that they had in China before communism will come back into power or back into play. So it almost feels like, in a way, the dynasties will be making a comeback in China. Whether that holds true for Taiwan, that remains to be seen. Maybe Taiwan does not change. But it looks like because these are Chinese cards at the moment, this is the big card representing China, this is indicated for China. So what will come forth with such relationship? China's ideology and governmental change will change the outcome of China as a whole. And China ideology will be changing very shortly and very soon. It may take a couple of decades, but it's going to get there. But they also want economic gain without the hard work of war or trying to take over a nation. They want to annex a nation, but not to take it over, because that would be too much of an allocation of resources. So in terms of what will come forth of such relationship, like I said, China's ideology long-term with such economic relationship with Taiwan will alter the direction of China as an autocratic, communist, capitalist society. Okay, so the next question that we're going to ask is, why does China feel this way about Taiwan? So this card is representing Taiwan, okay? That's the Emperor's card reverse. So we have the Tower card. So that is the Tower card. Then we have the Six of Wands reverse. Then we have the Temperance card reverse. Then we have the Sword card upright. Then we have finalized by the Justice card reverse. I think it's already reiterating what I said previously. Why does China feel this way specifically about Taiwan? And even though it comes down to governmental change, it also comes down to economic freedom and economic gain from it. It is also being indicated here to me specifically. It is indicating that, China also sees this as an avenue for a morale boost for the nation. I almost feel like China, on a subatomical level, when it comes to the population that they currently hold, the population is very frustrated right now with the current government and the current state of China. And that is becoming a major issue. And I think the Chinese government and diplomats and stuff like that, they recognize that, they see that. This is a big problem for China if this was to be true. Again, like I said, this is just entertainment purpose only. But if this was to be true, this will be indicated here. And the indicated card will be the Tower card, the collapse of the country. And I almost feel like in some way, something big is going to be changing in China, whether that's the government, whether that's the economy, whether that's the people uprising, maybe it's the culture. I don't know what it is specifically, but something major is happening in China. So the way they feel about China is almost like a way of like slapping a band-aid on an issue. Maybe by taking Taiwan, they're hoping that they could bring back morale, back and faith into the country again. That is not happening here. This thing is destined to happen. China is not meant to last forever, at least the current state that it's in. We do have the Six of Wands reverse, and that's because they have a lack of victory, a lack of winning streak, a lack of ability for Chinese citizens to feel like their government is doing enough for them. Their government is winning for them. The government is expanding. The government is in a golden age. They don't feel that way. They don't feel like the government is helping them in some capacity. So there is this feeling or the sentiment that they are unhappy with their current government. We do have the temperance card, and that is unbalanced loyalty. They're lacking loyalty to state. Yeah, a lot of Chinese people you talk to, they'll say like, "Oh, I'm very loyal to my government" and stuff like that. But that is really not how they really feel. That's what they say they feel, but that's not how they intuitively feel. But we do have the side card. They want to change, right? They had that little taste of difference. They had that little taste of a different ideology, a different taste of government, a different style. They had a little taste of it. Now they're addicted. It's like heroin or citizens on crack, so to speak. And that's what the side card is indicated here. It's indicated they had a little taste of sugar, right? And now they want more of it. It almost feels like in some way, maybe this indicated here, if the poor people or middle class, I don't even know if they have those type of classes in China, but if they do, it almost feels like the upper middle class, upper rich class, those people who are able to travel outside of China are able to have that little taste of governmental freedom, and now they're addicted. They got high on it. So when they come back to their own country, they realize, oh, I guess I really am missing out. And that's really the energy here. The dark card is that change. That energy is boiling. People are talking about it, but they don't need to talk. They don't need to even speak. The government is watching them every move, like a dystopian society. But sometimes the one thing government gets wrong is that they do not need to speak. They can see with their eyes. People can see with the windows of their eyes. We do have the justice card, and it folds underneath the star card, just like this. And this is being indicated here. Eventually, the government will end up collapsing in on itself. The government will not be able to stand because the people realize the government is no longer working for them. They're working for within their own interests. And we do have the Emperor's card. The Emperor's card is reversed. Taiwan is a symbol of what those citizens want, what those citizens desire. So why does China feel this way about Taiwan? Because Taiwan represents something that China is not. And because of that, that challenges the government of China. If they could eliminate Taiwan entirely, if they had that opportunity to do so, the people who are represented here, this Tower card, this reverse Six of Wands, the Temper card reverse, the Sword card, the Justice card reverse. What is being indicated here that the reason why is because Taiwan represents another alternate reality, what we could have had we just not put communism in power of our own country, our own nation. And so Taiwan, even though Taiwan didn't do anything specifically to China, China feels threatened because their country, their citizens are upset with their own government. And because that, Taiwan represents something that Taiwan cannot provide them. I mean, what China cannot provide their own citizens with. Because of that, Taiwan is considered a threat to China because as long as they stay there, these people will realize as time goes on that that's what they want. They want the image that Taiwan gives the people, the thing that Taiwan offers, not what China offers to the citizen. And that's the difference. That's why China feels the way they do about Taiwan. Independence of Taiwan. What is the long-term future for the independence of Taiwan? It's a little wordy, don't get me wrong. The independence of Taiwan, well, Taiwan is independent by definition, yes. But my intuition and my guys were saying that this is the question and this is the way I need to word it. So we're gonna go with it. The independence of Taiwan. So the first card here in the past is being indicated by the Page of Pentacles. And the Page of Pentacles is talking about this new nation on the block, this new nation that forms out of such severe circumstances. It managed to survive. It managed to defy all expectations. And here it is standing tall as a newly formed nation, recognized by many nations around the world. We do have here the card that follows around the 60s or 70s, right? There has some sort of hardship. There were some times, I guess, around the 60s and the 70s where they talked about possibly, Taiwan losing independence. But that didn't come to fruition, excuse me. But we do have the Ace of Cups. Taiwan is not as peaceful as a lot of the citizens had hoped. They had hoped that this Page of Pentacles would offer a new opportunity, a new perspective, a new life, a new chance. to do what they want to do. Almost like a Chinese experiment, so to speak. So we do have the Ace of Cups here, and that is reversed. And that card is telling me here is that just because all have seemed to be true, it's not all what made out to be real. And what is being indicated to me is what that's saying is it's basically saying that just because you see something doesn't always mean that it is legit or it is real by definition. That what they had imagined their country could be, or what it could be, was potential, didn't live up to its full potential, possibly because someone's on a door knocking down or threatening to take them out any minute. People are living in a state of fear. No matter how good their lives are, there is something that is holding back Taiwan progression forward. However, the independence of Taiwan will remain independent. So we do have the Magician card. As long as the people stand up for the people of Taiwan, the Taiwanese, as long as they stand up for themselves and stand up for their own government and for their own state, their country will remain independent of China. It will remain an independent nation. A nation of a lot of successes, although there was hardships, they managed to make it through. Because you see here, we have the cup, we have the pentacle, we have the sword, and we have the wand, right? But look what we have here. We have the pentacle in the past. It's potential. We have here the possibility of war. Then we have here what it could have been, but never was, right? We have them all on the cup, on the table. What does it indicate that, even though there's going to be quite a fight, the war will never manifest because they know that they hold the power, they hold the sovereignty to its own nation. We do have the pentacle. They will live up to their full potential, satisfying the Ace of Cups of birth. Taiwan, when it comes to the future, will realize its own potential and that it will be a very strong nation going forward. But first, it must stand up for themselves against Chinese aggression. If it's able to do that, it's able to achieve anything. And that is being shown in the Magician card. So the last question that we're going to ask today is, look at the spirit animal chart to gauge the final outcome. Best of luck. So this is also based on intuition as well. What is the final outcome between China and Taiwan? So I'm closing my eyes. I want you to close your eyes as well and just think of China and Taiwan. What animal comes to your mind? I want you to put your palm towards me. So for some of you guys, I'm seeing a snake. So for those of you guys who picked snake for the situation between Taiwan and China, it says here, we have a cobra, which is my spirit animal chart here. We have a cobra, so I guess the cobra is classified as a snake because that's what it is. So we're going to read that. A cobra spirit brings transformation, healing, protection, immorality, and is the guardian of nature and secrets. Cobra spirit teaches one to be patient, charming, confident, and wise. And it makes a lot of sense because it talks about how, the relationship between Taiwan and China in this overall video talks about how, China, when feels threatened by Taiwan, and Taiwan represents what China always could have been. But because of that, it makes people rise up and rebel against their own country. And that the spirit here is bringing forth transformation, was indicated by the Tower card. I'm trying to see if you guys are saying either other animals, but I'm only seeing snake for some of you. I do see a dolphin and dragonfly, so I'm going to do those two for you guys as well. For some of you guys who have chosen dolphin, it talks about bringing friendship, playfulness, and intelligence, improves your sense of connectedness, and helps you remember your dreams. That makes a lot of sense because it indicates here, it talks about how Taiwan bring back to the main focus of the main reason why they became an independent state and to really bring forth and hone down on what they were supposed to do all along, what Taiwan could have been and what they can be in the future. It also indicates here the relationship economically between Taiwan and China will be a lot stronger than what it is now. But then we also have the dragonfly, which is indicated brings acute awareness, gratitude for the small things, and balance. A good way to find joy in the simplest of things and feel the power of life. And what it talked about here, it talked about when it comes to the relationship between Taiwan and China, it indicates here about how, even something so insignificant, even though something so small or appears insignificant, it has a lot more power than what you can think it does. Like, for example, a little chihuahua has more power than a big dog. And that's because it has this aggression or attitude of a big dog, even though it is such a small thing. So it's saying here, don't underestimate the power of Taiwan, because Taiwan has a lot more to give than what is to be expected. So that is what it's saying here. It's saying just to appreciate life for what it is and what life could be and work towards that goal with the universe. Because the universe is working with China. The universe is working with Taiwan for the both best interests. So you guys need to do is you need to work for your best interest as well. So that is the final outcome for this video for China and Taiwan. I hope you guys like this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.